Hello, everyone. Jane here, and I'm with my good friend Faith Canter, who's in Portugal right now in the sunshine. Hi.
Hi, hi everyone.
So, we are going to talk about trust today, and this is a topic that is in the Language of Feminine Facebook group community. If you're not in that, it's free to join. So, trust is a deep and vast topic, and it's specifically related to trusting our intuition, our inner voice, trusting the timing of our lives, the universe, trusting our bodies, our rhythms, and trusting in sisterhood. So it's such an important topic for women because if we don't trust ourselves, it affects choices that we make. It also affects our sense of confidence in who we are, and that can, over time, begin to erode our sense of joy and happiness. So when I tuned into who can I speak to about this topic of trust, Faith immediately popped into my head because I know a bit about her journey. So let me introduce you to her. Some of you might know her already. She does amazing work. She is a health, wellness, and self-love author, coach, and explorer, and a nutritional fermenting and detox specialist who also focuses on self-love and living more from the heart than the head. She's also qualified in a whole heap of other modalities, from meditation and yoga to reflexology and flower remedies. And Faith herself has come from a background of self-hate, self-loathing, and chronic illness like ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, depression, OCD, and insomnia, to living a life she loves in a body she adores. Yay! And so now Faith teaches you to listen and connect with your own body, nature, and life once more, helping you to find peace within and on your path in this world. So welcome, Faith.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm really excited to talk to you about this topic of trust, because I know that you have been on an incredible journey these last few years, or maybe longer. So I want to dive right into that sense of, when we feel like life is falling apart on the outside. That's the times where we kind of need to root into trust even deeper, but the times that it's often harder to do that. So you've got quite a story of transformation that's happened. Can you share some of your journey with us around that and how that has affected your relationship with trust? That can be trust in your life and your body.
Yeah, where to begin?
Yeah, it's a vast kind of thing to talk about.
How do I condense it down? I think the thing, just before I get into my bit, that I would like to say is that when we are in that place of feeling like our life is falling apart on the outside, and like you say, that's the hardest times often to trust. And that's when we tend to then keep grasping for things on the outside as well. Right. We're not going within. We think that next person will fix us, or that next place, or that next career, or whatever it is. And for me, I recognise that's what I have done for most of my life. It's always been, even the next outfit. I wasn't a shopaholic or anything, but shopping, buying that new thing, or that new, even art supplies, or whatever it is, it kind of, that would give me a little buzz for a little while, and it would make me feel a little bit better. And now we kind of do it with Facebook and alcohol and various other things. But I recognize throughout my whole story, that's what I've always done, is looked on the outside for things to make me feel better, but that's only temporary. And it's when we go within that, then that's where when the magic starts to happen, because those outside things are never going to fix us or our situation. What does is going within, is learning to listen to ourselves and our bodies and our intuition and things. And for me, I wasn't doing that for my whole life. And I started suffering from depression at quite a young age. I had quite some traumatic things happen in my childhood, and I filled myself up with drugs, alcohol, men, shopping, anything and everything to try and make myself feel better. And I trusted no one and nothing. And especially not my own thoughts and my own intuition and my own knowing, because I didn't like myself. So why would I trust myself if I didn't like anything about myself? You know, I was wrong about everything. I was wrong about that man. I was wrong about that career. I was wrong. You know, that's how it felt. So I was unable in that for many years to trust myself or all those around me either, or life even. I thought everything was happening against me. I thought everything was rubbish. And I didn't understand why we came to be in these lives that were awful. And I thought mine was particularly bad compared to everyone else's. You know, and that led to a whole host of health ailments, chronic fatigue syndrome. For 6 years I was housebound and sometimes bedbound. Obviously depression, suicidal thoughts, insomnia for 15 years. Oh, somebody is trying to get hold of me. Let's just get rid of that.
They can speak later.
Trust that was happening for some reason or another. So over most of my life, I was suffering from lots of different health conditions, mentally and physically, and I was really deeply unhappy until recently. Until the last few years. And for me, that changed when I realized that my whole life I've been driven by my head. My whole life I've been listening to my head, listening to the judgments, the need to conform, the what will other people think, the trying to fit in, the feeling like I didn't fit in, the not being enough, the not being worthy. You know, the list goes on. It was all head, every single part of it, all head. And as I learnt that and learnt slowly but surely to be more and more in my heart, the trust just came naturally. The trust came naturally because I wasn't trying to be or do something that wasn't me anymore. I was being and doing me. And, you know, we're all human and I don't have it right 100% of the time, but I feel in a much happier, healthier and more harmonious place than I ever thought was possible. And when I'm not feeling that, I know I'm back in my head again. When I don't know what to trust, and when I don't know what to do, where I don't know what to turn to, where I don't feel inspired, creative, intuitive, whatever, then I know I'm back in here again.
Right, that's a really great indicator, a very strong kind of guidance tool that I guess is developed through your experience to have that extreme contrast.
Yeah.
So how did you make that kind of transformation from being so seriously in your head all the time to going into your heart and learning to trust the sense and the feeling, and also what you said about you know, when you're being you, how do you know that was like the real you? What was the kind of the difference that you felt?
Because life got easier.
Right.
Up until then, life was a struggle. Everything was a struggle. It was a struggle being me. It was a struggle in my body. It was a struggle financially. It was a struggle in every way. In every way, everything felt like a struggle. Like I had to work really hard, and I got nowhere. And if I did get anywhere, then it wasn't enough. And yeah, everything was a real struggle. And that's part of what I teach now is, you know, if you're feeling that life is a struggle, if you're overwhelmed, if you're stuck, if you're not knowing, if you're doubting, then you're in your head.
Mm-hmm.
That's all head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful invitation to return to the heart. And it's also about not giving ourselves a hard time for being stuck in our heads.
Yes.
As well, because that's what we tend to do as well. It's like, oh, I should know better than this.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this training, or I've done this thing, or I've listened to this talk, or read this book, or whatever it is. And then you give yourself a hard time, or then you're just in your head again. But if you can see what's happening and be okay with your humanness, because
right.
you know we've been running these same programs for most of our lives, then you pass through it quicker, and then you get back into your heart, and then all the intuition and the guidance and the ease and the flow and things start to come back again.
Mm-hmm. So there's a certain element of surrender to trust, and surrendering that you will be okay and that life will become easier. And there's that element of control, you know, when we control and try and rule and stay in control of our lives through our heads, then if this fear of kind of letting go of that we won't be caught by life, I guess. So in relation to the physical illnesses you had in your body, you know, how did you get back to a place of trusting your body again? Because it can feel like your body's actually letting you down, because, and it's you know, failing you, so to speak, when you have an illness. If you don't understand, you know, why it's there, what's your kind of experience of going through the illness and then regaining that trust in your own body and that connection and communication with your body? It's a long question.
I was trying to think of the beginning bit of it again. For me now, I know if there's something wrong in my body now, I know that means there's something wrong in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
The body is just mirroring or giving us messages or invitations to change something that's going on up here. Mm-hmm. So for me now, I know that, like, I have two ways my body generally tells me that something's out of balance, and that's that my IBS type symptoms that I suffer with very severely for a long time come back. Never the same, but they'll come back briefly. I know that then there's something not to do with my diet that I need to change. Generally, it's to do with up here. Mm-hmm. It means generally I'm overthinking something because my body's like so much churning. Or for some people, it also, you know, if you're constipated, that means you could be holding on to something or someone, or the opposite if you're doing the opposite. Right. But also, like, I can get quite severe headaches, which is another thing I suffer from for most of my life. And I know generally when I have very painful headaches, that's my body's way of protecting me from overthinking.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that's a good way to kind of come to realize that I'm overthinking and to address that, rather than, you know, take a pill or a potion or a lotion or whatever it is to try and get rid of the pain, because the pain is just a symptom of something unaddressed in the mind. And it works, you know. I thank my body for that, because, you know, when you're in so much pain, you can't think. So it works, and my body's done that for a good proportion of my life, which is why I had suffered from a lot of pain throughout the years. So when I was chronically ill, yeah, I did blame my body. I thought there was something wrong. I thought, I thought there were a million things wrong. But now I see that it's just my mind's way of telling me, or my body's way of telling me there's something out of balance in my mind and my thinking. And when I address that, then usually the pain, the discomfort, whatever it is, goes away.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And so have you, are you in a place where you it sounds like you deeply listen to your body now and trust you have a relationship with your body, and like having a headache, she's protecting you from. That's beautiful to think of it that way, that your body is your ally, and that she's showing you where you need to adjust your thinking or your lifestyle or your diet. And that's a huge kind of turn in thinking, to connect that relationship with my body as my ally.
Yeah.
Rather than that directing negative thoughts or anger towards your body letting you down. Yeah, and that's such a...
Yeah, and it's the same for everyone. It's not just like my magic body.
Yeah.
It's the same for everybody. But we're brought up to think there's something wrong, right? You've got a pain in the head. There's something wrong with you. Your foot's about to fall off. There's something wrong with you. And I'm not saying that there isn't medicines, potions, lotions, those sorts of things that help these things, but what I'm saying is that actually, if you listen to what it is trying to tell you rather than try to stop what it is, then you will be much happier, healthier, and more harmonious for it, because it will actually give you an indication of what's going on for you and how to address that. And that maybe there's some things in your life that aren't working in their current form. Our bodies are speaking to us all the time, but most of us aren't aware of that, push it away, or don't know how to listen.
So let's talk a little bit about that, trusting the listening, because I think with intuition and trusting that inner voice, or that guidance, whatever you want to call it, there's been a seed of doubt planted in women in particular, or the feminine, that part that's also in men, for years, and that has kind of damaged the relationship a lot of women or men have to their feminine, around the intuition and trusting the inner guidance or the inner voice. Got all the insects swarming around you,
dropping on me left, right, and centre.
They're giving kisses.
Yeah.
Yes. So that there's that seed of doubt that's been sort of planted in a lot of people around that relationship to that part of us that is intuitive, and when we just make a decision based on a feeling about something, because doesn't have any logical explanation to it. So, and that in the past, I think, has been very much not accepted. So I think we're in a time where we're kind of rebuilding that relationship to that intuitive part of us. So what would you say around, to people watching or to women watching, around your journey in redeveloping, even with that seed, when that seed of doubt is there, the difference of trusting and knowing and acting on it, or like squashing that voice down.
Yeah. I think again, it's listening to your own compass. You're listening to your own inner guidance for it, and that doesn't necessarily mean drop. I mean, I use this technique where I drop into my heart and I feel what's there, and I ask for guidance there. But even your body has just little ways of telling you if something's off. You know, if you think of something and your energy drops, like instantly you think, okay, I need to go and see that person, or I need to address this thing, and your energy drops, then that's probably not a good thing for you in that moment to do. If your energy rises, then that's possibly a good thing. You know, if for some people it likes the stomach, you know, you say your gut instinct. Well, it's true. You know, if you're thinking about doing something and all of a sudden your stomach feels out of sorts, or it feels heavy, or you've got a knot in it, or something like that, then maybe that's not the right thing for you. You know, so even if you find it hard to actually, you know, maybe go into the heart, or, you know, connect with your higher self or your spirit guides, or whatever it is that is your thing, or could be your thing, then just listen to how the body feels around it. And just take a second, right? Think about the thing, take a second to just feel what the body feels about that. And then for me, that's your knowing, that's your guidance, that's your compass. And we all know it, you know, we've done it. And we push it away.
It's just pausing for that moment long enough to actually feel into what's happening here.
And if you have doubts about what's the right thing, keep thinking about it is not going to help it. And that's that one thing I do know. You know, anything else you can do, just keep thinking about it, is not going to help it. It's not going to solve it, and you're probably always going to doubt that decision as well, because it's from head and not heart. And heart is our natural place to be. And it does, like I said, it doesn't have to be just heart. It can be just your body's reactions, especially with women, like at the time of the month and things like that. It's if your cycle's all out, or if you're not feeling in the zone, or if you're feeling depleted, or your stomach's upset, or any of these things, then it could be that what's happening at the moment is not for you. When what you're thinking about a lot at the moment then is probably what's affecting it. But being in our hearts and in our bodies more is our natural state of being. It was how we came to this world. We came to this world totally heart-centered. We didn't care what we wore. I've got another bee or something in my I could hear buzzing.
You must smell good. You must smell like a flower.
I think it's the colour of my dress. Maybe it's like bright
I think
orange.
you're a flower.
Yeah. We came to this world and we didn't care what we dressed like, what we danced like, what we looked like, what we sung like. And it was the world that said, you need to be quiet, you need to conform, you need to put clothes on, you know, all these other things. So it's just about going back to our natural state, and our natural state is heart-centeredness. It's not head. So like I say, if you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, uninspired, uncreative, not sure what to do, ill, any of these things, then you're almost certainly stuck in your head.
Yeah. And I think one of the things you said, like there's many, you know, our body's speaking to us all the time. And for women, the menstrual cycle is very, well, it's an incredible tool to be able to know when you're out of sync. There's so many subtleties that can happen within the cycle that we can learn to listen to. So that's an incredible indicator for women to connect with as well.
When I work with women around hormones and whatever that is to do with their hormones, or whatever stage of their life, the two things we mainly address, well, this one thing is stress, but it's stress of overthinking and stuff, but it's also stress of the foods we're putting into our body and stuff we're putting onto our body.
Mm-hmm.
So when you address the stress, then the cycle usually sorts itself out.
Mm. Yeah, getting to the root of it.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you'd like to share on trust before we round up?
It's just
Any
I've
last
mentioned about
thoughts?
being. I guess I've mentioned about being in the heart, but maybe not really explained how.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So maybe I'll say something a little bit quickly about that.
Yeah, some tips would be good.
It's super simple, and if it's not simple, it means you're in your head again. So, but I just put my hand on my heart, make sure I don't cover my microphone up. Put my hand on my heart, wrong side.
Which side's heart?
And then I put my awareness there.
Mm-hmm.
So I put my awareness where my hands are on my heart, and then I breathe in and out of that space. So I'm bringing the attention down from head or other parts of the body that are in pain or not doing what I want them to do or whatever it is, down from the head into heart, and I breathe for 10, 20, 30 seconds, whatever feels right.
Mm-hmm.
And then whilst I'm in that space in the heart there, then I ask, what would love do? Or a variation of that, depending on what's going on for me. I like the one, what would love do, because it's a bit vague. So, sometimes we think something needs fixing, but actually it's not that thing that needs fixing. So this is a good question for that. And love, and then it's the first thing that comes up then, even if it feels totally irrelevant, it's the first thing that comes up. And it could be you just take a bath, or go for a rest, or go for a walk, or make a juice. Or it might be, and I had this when I was splitting up from my husband, my heart said, let him the F go. And because I don't swear that often, I knew that was like my heart saying, it's time, it's time to let him go, which was obviously really upsetting, but I knew that already.
Yeah.
So,
and then it comes back to that trust that when you know.
Yeah. And yeah, so you could get anything from the heart. It could be big things, it could be little things, it could be just, rest, whatever it is, but do those things. And the more you follow those things, the easier life gets, the less conflicted life gets, the more intuitive, creative, and you're not wasting energy on the conflict in the mind, and happier things get. And we're human, we can't be like that all the time. I'm not in my heart 100% of the time, but I notice much quicker now when I've come out of my heart and I'm into my head, rather than the other way around. When I first started, I'd be like, oh, I'm hanging out in my heart, great, and then I'd be like, oh no, it's gone. And now it's the other way around. And it's always, if you want clear directions and clear what's the word, if you want clear directions in your life, and ones that you're gonna trust, I guess, more, then it's the heart that you get them from. You don't get them from the head. The head is always going to judge, be in conflict, trying to do better, trying to conform, trying to fit in, not feeling enough. The heart doesn't care about any of that, doesn't care about any of that at all. It just wants you to be happy.
And I love that question, what would love do? Thank you so much for sharing that very simple thing that we can, everyone can do in any moment, is just bring that attention and awareness into the heart space and tune in and ask that question, and keep remembering to do that. And I think it's through the experience of doing it that we remember, because we start to remember what it feels like, and it's that embodied feeling that then grows into what you just described. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Faith. Yes, is there something else?
Yeah, just quickly, I do, for people that might struggle with doing that themselves, there is a couple of meditations on my YouTube channel. If you just put in Faith Canter heart meditation, then you can actually go through a very short meditation that I take you through to be in your heart more.
I did that. I did your meditation, yeah.
And the more you practice, not just my heart meditation, but any heart meditations, there's hundreds, probably thousands on YouTube. The more time you spend hanging out in your heart, the easier it becomes to stay there and to live from that space, and to listen to your body, and to be really more present and guided and grounded by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's like anything. It's like that, the practice of remembrance through the body.
Yeah.
Grows your feeling. I'll put all the links below for your YouTube channel and your website, so if you want to find out more about what you do, then you can check you out. So thank you so much again for this conversation. I think it's really important to have conversations like this, because there's still so much doubt out there, and everyone experiences it at some point in their life. So this video will hopefully a little reminder to someone somewhere to trust a feeling, or to trust their body, or trust their heart, or get out of their head space back into their heart space. So really important stuff. So thank you so much.
Thank you once again for inviting me to be part of your Trust Month.
My pleasure. I trust that it's all going to unfold in beautiful ways.
Of course.
So thanks again, and bye to everyone.
Bye-bye.
Watching. Bye.